Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium. I'm Jim Noble, along with Wofford Athletic Director Richard Johnson. We've just had the announcement of Dwight Perry as the new old basketball coach for the Wofford men's basketball team. And Richard, kind of for Wofford fans out there, describe the collaborative process of how you and the administration arrived at this decision.
So we had a long time, and we had a long time, number one, to observe Dwight. He had a 20-game job interview. But we also had a lot of Wofford-related assistant coaches that we had to watch, and we've watched in the past, and we knew them, and we paid even more attention to what they were doing currently. We had sitting head coaches that showed interest in the job, both Division I and Division II. So we had a really deep and talented pool. So I would vet these candidates internally. We would vet them with others in the industry. We vetted them. Then I took some of those names to my president, and we decided on a group that we wanted to interview. And again, it was a very deep and very talented pool. And as we went through it, we came to the conclusion that the guy that we watched for the last 20 games was a guy to lead us into the next decade.
As a former coach yourself, what are the attributes that Dwight Perry brings to the table that make you feel he can be a long-term success?
So first of all, you have to have character and integrity, and to be in our pool, that was a prerequisite. But Dwight really has those attributes, and watching him with the team, I think you can learn a lot about more about someone in adversity than you do when things are going well. And when we would have some losses, and they might be tough losses, you watched how the players responded, you watched how he responded, and you watched how he instilled confidence in the players. And it's easy when you're mad after a game to make yourself feel better and to say things. You know, a player makes a mistake or they don't do what you told them to do, and it's not your fault, right? But Dwight, he handled that so well. He didn't point fingers. He encouraged and he got them ready to play the next game, and that's impressive. That shows a wisdom beyond maybe the experience that he would have had prior to this year.
I know you told some of the local media about his X's and O's acumen, that last play against UNCG in the tournament, the way that was drawn up and advanced the ball. At this point, for a young coach, are the X's and O's the most important thing? Is it recruiting? Is it personal relationships? I know they're all important, but what does a young coach have to deal with the most?
Well, I mean, you're right. It's all of those things. You have to have a proficiency in the game. You have to have a coherent philosophy, and then you have to stick to that philosophy. Tactically you can change, but philosophically you have to remain the same. And he's got that, and he's consistent throughout this season. He never wavered there. And again, in adverse situations, it's easy to deviate. He didn't do that. So I think that was certainly something that impressed me, how he handled the players, it's a difficult thing to become a head coach in the middle of the year. I mean, very few people have to do that, and it's really, really hard. And I thought he did a remarkable job of handling the players and handling that situation, and that's that's how we arrived at where we did.
Final question, and now we have stability, and that's the important thing in this changing landscape of college basketball. That's got to be a huge part of the equation.
It is. I mean, stability of the program, but not necessarily stability. I was asked, what about, does it help that, did you do this because kids might go in the portal? Absolutely not. Okay. That has nothing to do with it. If the portal's the portal, we're going to live with that, and we're going to defeat that through relationships. But you never hire somebody just to keep a player, because those players are transient, right? And people others have made those mistakes by making hires that you think are going to help you retain players. That was a mistake then. It is a mistake today, in my opinion. You hire someone who's here, who gets Wofford, who is culturally a fit for Wofford. And that doesn't mean you have to be a Wofford graduate. You just have to be a cultural fit. I was going back through it the other day, and I'm saying, I wonder how many Wofford graduates have been head coaches here. And the last one I found was back in the early 50s. And so that's how far back you'd have to go to find one. And so, but again, what is important is the cultural fit. And Dwight has that. He's just a high quality, high caliber guy. I watch him interact with his staff. I watch him interact with the students, with the faculty and staff on campus. And that's another important piece of this. And he does a great job. But more importantly, it's authentic. It's not one of those things that, oh, I have to check the box and do this today. What Dwight is, what you see in Dwight is what you get. There's an authenticity, and that's important.
We certainly appreciate your time. Richard Johnson, onward and upward. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it.